Wow. All right. We are live. Hey, everybody. Dave Wilson of the Ringer Hire Show. Listen, you're going to love this show. We got Francie Hummel. Did I say Hummel?
Hummel, yeah.
Wow. I didn't even mess that name up. But hey, tonight we're going to do a great interview and stay right there. You know the drill. We'll be right back. How do you like that video for $17?
Not bad, not bad.
That's it. I tell everybody that Fever app, whatever, $17. That's all it costs. He's in Pakistan. We just go back and forth. Yeah, I give him the images. He knows me by now, and we just put it all together. Hey, tonight, everybody, you know, Francie's in Washington, D.C., metro area. You're in the Reston area?
Currently in Reston. I'm going to be moving to Arlington in September.
I'm going to go off the little, what I usually don't do here. But the reason why, God, I've read this 10,000 times. I told you about your story, and we've talked about video resumes and how, you know, watching somebody, you don't see that on their resume. You know, you're talking with the person. And I'm going to go over your story, and the reason why is because it's really, and I want my friends on here, followers, to share this like they've never shared before. So you put in there on your LinkedIn profile, I got to give you credit. I am a multi-bilingual business professional with business development and project management experience, looking for an opportunity to restart my career. That is fantastic. I'm looking for an opportunity that allow me to use the skills I've acquired through my project management beginnings. And we're going to talk about that because that's part of what you're doing. But, you know, let me say hi to, hey, Anne-Marie, how you doing tonight? And Rob's in the house. Rob's in Pittsburgh also.
Oh, hi.
Yeah. So, but this is what really caught my eye. My resume shows my work ethic and ability to connect with people, but it doesn't show my tenacity, courage, ambition, compassion, diligence, honesty, and zest for life. I have run 3 successful small businesses and impacted the local community in many ways. These professional experiences have solidified, wow, I'm saying these words, my desire to continue. But this is the best part. Hey, Tuvia, how you doing? You're going to love this guy. He's in Miami, Florida, but he recruits for New York and New Jersey.
Nice.
This is what got me. And I like how you said it's a brief synopsis of my life, if I can pronounce that. You know, not a sob story, but, you know, you were born and raised in Brazil, okay, until the age of 10. During this period, I lived in poverty and became an orphan. At 10 years old, I was adopted by an American family. This is where I would find out what it means to have food every day, the great opportunity to complete high school, and earn a bachelor's degree first in my family and shortly after college. I reconnected with my birth family. In an attempt to closer to them, my husband and I decided to move to Brazil. It also allowed us to learn the culture and people from a more real perspective instead of the tourist. It was a great experience, and you met a lot of great people. You know, you learn about yourselves, each other's, and in 2017, you moved back to the U.S. so that you could have your daughter, all right? And you again restarted your professional career, which we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
You accepted a role in launching a language immersion enrichment program. Wow, I'm doing great tonight.
You are.
Things have started to go, I know, right? When things have started to go well, for the program. I was diagnosed with stage 4B, low grade, and I'm just going to say it's a uterine cancer.
Yes.
Okay? You know, this completely rocked your family, rocked me, my family and friends. And at the same time, COVID hit the world.
Yeah.
So now you've spent the last year recovering and your disease is now stable. And I love this. You have refined yourself. I mean, myself as a woman, wife, mother, friend, daughter, professional, but it has given me great clarity about what I'm looking for in life and that it's make a positive impact on whoever I react with. I love how you put, if you've made it this far, I'd love to hear from you what you're looking for on your team and you've been through something similar. I'd love to know your story. I got to tell you, you know, that was a lot. Oh, Rob, you can tell he's doing
Sorry.
I feel like, what? I don't even know what he's saying there. Must be scary for a 10-year-old to move to a new country all alone and not speak the language.
Yeah.
How did that work?
So when I came here, my adoptive parents put me in super intensive English classes. I would go to English class 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. And I arrived in June, and by August, I was fluent and ready to go into school and did fairly well. I got mostly A's and B's. I do remember getting my first C ever in my life.
All right.
On American history. So I didn't really give myself too much of a hard time because I had never learned American history before.
I still don't understand it all. You know, let's start out, Francie. Tell us what you do now and what your goals are right now for what type of work.
Sure. So right now, I just started back in October when we moved here to Reston. I started my own consulting company called Beija Flor Consulting, and kind of as the desire to help small, you know, mom and pop type companies have a really nice digital presence without having to pay the big bucks that a marketing firm costs. That desire kind of came out of having designed the website for my previous company that I was involved with, and you know, really wanting somebody to just do the website and maintain it and, you know, keep it up and keep it looking really nice and fresh, and not having anybody to do that for me. So I decided that it would be a really great way to continue to learn and continue to progress my knowledge without being really able to control the amount of work that I was doing, because I was still, you know, I was 6 months after diagnosis, 8 months after my diagnosis. And so I was kind of still recovering from everything. And it really provided me a really great opportunity to learn and grow my knowledge base in the web design space.
And you're also going right now you said you had a test next week, and
so next Friday, I am doing the PMI Project Management Professional Certification. I took a course on Coursera, which I'd never heard of before, but it's a really, really awesome way to learn. And I did, there was like a Google Project Management certification course that I did on there, which qualified for the 3 different requirements that PMI has before you can even register for the exam. So I registered for the exam and I'll be taking it next week. So
are you ready?
I'm getting there. I'm going to be studying after this.
And I wanted to remind the guests tonight, whoever's watching the show and everything, please, if you feel like asking a question, this is a time we're doing an interview and we're going to get you hired, Francie. But
I hope so.
Talk about your education.
So I went to University of the Sciences. I have a bachelor's degree in biology. I started at the university as a pharmacy student. So they have a 6-year accelerated pharmacy program. And that was what I was originally enrolled in to do. And then about 2.5 years into it, I just decided that it wasn't something that I wanted to do for the rest of my life.
Right.
And so I decided to get a bachelor's in biology, it's pretty heavily focused on the medical side of biology.
Right.
And
just out of my league, I'm just listening to the words. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
I'll just Google it. I just have to Google it and say, okay, what did she just say? But
yeah. So yeah, it's pretty, pharmacology, medical biology degree, and kind of as a way to get out in my 4 years and give me the best base for any future medical work I wanted to do.
That's awesome. And we've talked prior to this for a little bit, but what type of work and what kind of company? And I like how you said this is, what are you looking for? In the area, I know you're going to be going to the Arlington area, so we're going to tag that area everywhere, but what are you looking for?
Sure. So I'm really looking for a company that will accept me as a whole human being. And I am pretty adamant about that because I do have a story, and everybody has a history. Everybody has a story. And I want to be part of creating a company's story and making an impact. And if, in the office with my coworkers, with my community, that's what I'm really looking for in the company that I work for. What I want to do is start as kind of an entry level, associate level project manager. And the reason I want to start, even though I have experience and I'm getting this certification, I want to start at the ground level because I really value learning all aspects of a business so that I can really help and make an impact in the business.
I get that. And I mean, for you to say that's where you want to start and grow, I mean, I know you want to be challenged. We talked about that. You need a job that you're going to be challenged. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know. I mean, that's a challenge, all right, to go for that. But talk to me also about children's language, the immersion program that you did.
Sure.
I think this one's really important. I mean, for what you did here, it really stands out.
Yeah. So children's language immersion program is still continuing in Pittsburgh, and it started as kind of a way to fill a big need that we felt in our community where we lived at the time. I was approached by a friend of mine to partner in the business, and our goal was to bring the Spanish language, the Spanish culture to an area that didn't have much of it.
Right.
And so when we started the business, our goal was to, have this business, have these programs, phenomenal programs for these children with native Spanish speakers and teachers, but also become an integral part of the community so that it wasn't just an activity for children to attend, like they're going to go to soccer camp or they're going to go to whatever. It was really about getting them to understand that there are other cultures and other ways in which people live their lives that are very different than the ways that we are accustomed to life.
That's powerful. I bet it's very rewarding. I can imagine.
It was. Yeah. And we got, as I was there, we got to connect with some great parents that had come from different areas of the country and had prior exposure to similar programs, and were so glad that they could find something similar in the Pittsburgh area. That's
unbelievable. I mean, I love children, and I love anything about educational to teach, and it's the same thing in staffing or whatever kind of job you're doing. You want to learn. And you got to show and tell everybody. But I did notice for the language, you said English, Spanish, and Portuguese.
Correct.
Is that, if I'm not mistaken, it's close, right? It's some of it or not?
Sometimes.
I worked with, she was Portuguese and she would speak. And I was like, well, is that like Spanish too? And it was hard. She was like, same answer that you did. And
sometimes. Yeah, the example I love to give is like the color blue, right? In both languages, it's azul, but you go to the color red. In Portuguese, it's vermelho. In Spanish, it's rojo. So it doesn't sound anything alike.
No, that didn't there. But what I want to know, everybody's watching here, is, I've told everybody before about why I love doing this show, and LinkedIn Live. It's a powerful platform. I mean, this goes everywhere around. I've connected with a lot of different states, abroad, and I feel by you getting to know Francie here that she's a person. You don't find this on a resume. I've told you that before. I am a firm believer in video resume screening, or at least the Zoom calls. Everybody's used to doing Zoom now. But get to know the person, not just the resume. You know, and that you're a big believer in that, because all your experience here is just phenomenal. You know, and I told you before, people don't always assume, because you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know the story of the person that's, you know, you're interviewing, you're nervous, you really want that job, and then something doesn't go your way, and it's like, oh, did I say something wrong? You know?
Yeah.
But I also wanted to ask you, the self-employed over in Brazil, and if you could talk what you did over there.
Sure. So when we went to Brazil, my husband and I almost moved there with no job, no plan, just go. And about a month before we left the US to head there, he was able to land a job, and we moved to an entirely different city that we weren't thinking we were going to go to. So when we got there, I was kind of like, okay, what do I do? I'm here and I have value in the fact that I can speak English and, you know, natively and all of that. And so I went and I started looking for jobs at different English schools, and quickly realized that a lot of the schools there aren't focused on the students.
Right.
And, you know, they have a curriculum, and this is the only way that you can teach it, and there's no flexibility in it whatsoever. And the reality of the students there is that everyone wants something different. They have different needs. They work.
Doesn't that sound familiar? That sounds familiar.
Yeah, and you know, everybody works in a different field. They just have different interests. And so I started my own English school, and I would meet with every student, figure out what their, you know, short-term and long-term goals were, and then I would work with them, create customized curriculums for each individual student. Good. To get them to where they were trying to go in their English learning journey.
That again, I'm going to say it again, but rewarding. It's a reward, because you're helping people. You're Absolutely. Out there. You know, if I had a certain, you know, niche that I could train somebody, teach somebody, it's great. You're passionate about it, and I can tell. I mean, every time you talk about what you've done, the passion's there. I mean, it's there, and you know, we always say, "Oh, if this person's looking for work, you should be working right away." Have you seen any challenges looking for work right now? Do you find, or?
Yeah, I think the challenge I most face is because I have some gaps in my resume, you know, a year break here, a couple month break there. And the fact that I have been and done a lot of different things. I don't have a very traditional career path of graduated college, started at a company, grew within that company, switched to a same job in a different company kind of track. I'm all over the place and doing my own thing for a long time. So I think that's kind of been a little bit harder to portray, right, that is actually a benefit and not a detriment.
Well, I when we're going to talk more of what you've done is, we talked about it prior, you know, you have your no file, yes file. That's what I learned from Gail Miller on TED Talks when I had her on. You know, you assume, you take this no file, yes file. But if you don't really know the person, again, I'm going to say it 1,000 times about, don't assume, because why you have work gaps. You haven't talked to the person.
Right.
So, and I told you what happened when I assumed something went on a resume. But the next part, I like how you did that, but you also, you went back into project management, and you over in Norristown, PA.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, what did you do there?
So that was kind of my first real job out of college. I started working as an associate project manager at Myoderm, and they are now called Myonex. And I was responsible for managing, and what they do is they do clinical trial, like drug supply management. Yeah. So I worked in every aspect of that business. I did
Right.
marketing. I literally went to the back and shipped packages when one of our shipping guys didn't show up for the day. I put through orders. I met with clients. I kind of did it all. And again, in that effort to really learn the business in its entirety instead
Right.
of just my particular part of the business.
Oh, here we go. Here's the man all the way from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Here he is. Hey, Bill, how's it going? Yeah, I told Francie that you were going to be on tonight, and all these are really good contacts, like I said, and even Tuvia, he really goes out of his way to help people. So does Bill, and Rob's a good contact. So definitely everybody,
Awesome.
Reach out and connect. That what you there. I'm going to give you an easy one now.
Okay.
This is kind of a fun one here. So if I was to go outside and you stayed in the office here and I had your whole family out there and your husband and your daughter, what would they say about you?
Well, my daughter would depend on the day. She's a very opinionated 3-year-old. But I think in general, I would say that they would say that I am not somebody that gives up easily. Nice. I know what I want and I will go for it, and I live life with gusto and lots of it.
And again, you have your story and everything you've been through and where you've worked. I can see that. And when we're going to talk about a couple more things you do, it's so round and diversified what you've done. So I believe a company would really benefit from somebody with all different type of skills, because you can wear many faces. You can wear many faces, and hey, today I'm with staffing, tomorrow I might be unloading, and talking to customers, like you said. You said it all, what you've done there. The next one, I'm gonna give another one here. I gotta find it now. I gotta look down here. What is something that we don't know about you that is not on your resume? Like, what is something that you've done or you feel, hobbies or anything like that?
Sure. So my husband and I are actually both certified scuba divers.
Oh, see, that's it. Bill, I'm done. I've never had somebody say that before, but that's what I'm talking about. Oh, you got to talk about this for a minute. Go ahead.
Oh my gosh. I would highly, highly recommend everyone go scuba diving at least once in their life. Because we have the terrestrial world that we can explore, and we can explore above water, right? Like, we're pretty accustomed to that. But the world underwater, it's incredible. You open up an entire other half of the planet that you can explore. And it's so cool. And, my husband and I did one dive. It was a night dive, which is terrifying because you can't see anything. I don't think I could do that. Where you point your little flashlight, but we got
Shark Week. No.
almost,
yeah.
But we got to see spotted eagle rays, they're called. And our dive instructor, said to us, I've done over 2,000 dives in my life, and I've seen these 5 times.
That's what Bill's been saying. They're doing it for 30 years. I'm a diver.
So awesome.
It's so peaceful, awesome. A few atmospheres down. And I've had him on the show. And
yes, it is.
I can't even imagine that. I'll hold my nose. That's what I'll do.
Yeah.
What do you feel, if you had to look at in your career, what do you feel one of your biggest accomplishments are?
I would say my biggest accomplishment would be what we did, or what I in partnership with my partners at Clip, what we did to really become a part of the Pittsburgh community. Now there is something called CADE, which is Citizens Alliance for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion.
Okay.
And I was really a part of the groundwork for that. And I think it's so cool that in talking to a couple passionate parents that had students that attended our program, talking to the local government and talking to the local schools, like the board members.
Right.
Out of those organic conversations, I was able to connect people together And even though we left the city, those connections and those conversations moved forward in creating this program that is, being adopted by schools to try to really create a more inclusive environment for the students. And that's just awesome.
That's there again. I mean, you can tell you're passionate about. Bill says, please make sure we connect. Bill, I know you have an interview question, and Tuvia, I know you're going to have one. So please ask away here. It's her time here. And like I tell everybody out there, please, you are moving to the Arlington area.
Arlington, yeah.
Is that where you're going to be looking for work, right in that area, or?
Yeah, I would say kind of Arlington, Falls Church, and Washington, D.C., kind of in that general metropolitan area.
In that area, that's what I figured. What's some of the challenges that you found in some of the work that you've done? Now, I'm going to talk about, let's just say the pharmacy technicians. You have some background that you've worked at 2 different areas with that. That's got to be challenging. I'm sorry. There's no room for errors. You can't make errors. So, I mean, when I saw that tells me right away, wow, no errors. If you make an error, you could cause injury to somebody. You could cause a problem.
Absolutely.
So talk to me about that.
So I definitely a challenge would be when a customer comes in and they're super unsatisfied, and it doesn't have to be your fault. They could have talked to somebody 3 days ago and you had nothing to do with it. But as in your position, you have to talk to them. You have to kind of get them to calm down and communicate effectively. And a lot of times when people got angry at their insurance company for not covering their medication, you have to really work with them to get them to understand that you're there to help them and you're there to make their day better, not ruin it.
Well, I've seen it in lines, and I've seen it. Some of the elderly people, anybody that's up there that doesn't have the money, they can't afford it. And you have that long line of people, and, I don't judge. And I just have wow, you feel it. But yet, if you don't control that environment right there, you could make it, like you said, you can make her feel good, him, or if you don't show any kind of empathy or anything, it can be a bad experience, I'm sure.
Exactly.
And keeping them on. And then I wanted to talk. See, you got it all. So I wanted you to talk about your Talbots. Did I say that right? Talbots. All right, I was close. Yeah. And what you did there.
Sure. So Talbots is a women's clothing store. I don't know if they sell men's stuff now, but it was a job I had when I was in high school. And I was a salesperson, and again, wasn't super focused on meeting the quotas, was much more focused on providing my customers with honest opinions and feedback when they asked me for it. And something that's kind of what I've always strived for, is to not give people the things that they always want to hear, if that makes sense, right? No, a lot of people, when they ask you, how are you? Great. No, when I ask you, how are you? I really want to know how you're doing. Is there something that I can help you? Is there a reason why you're in this shop and something that you're looking for specifically that I can really help you get to that item in the store?
Well, I had a question on that. Do you feel, your story and what you've been through in your life, from Brazil, and how you talked about, growing up in poverty and the jobs that you have, do you think that's molded you kind of? I
would definitely say so. Yeah. I've always been a person that honesty is the best policy.
Right.
Even when it's inconvenient for me, and I've had times in my life where there's been everybody staring at me and to do the wrong thing, right? What I'm thinking of is when I was in college, I took the subway a lot in the city to go downtown and stuff. And there was one time when there wasn't an attendant, and there were people jumping over and not paying their fare, and everybody's looking at me, and I put my little token in and I walked in, and they were like, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know. I want to be able to sleep at night. And if I didn't put my token in, I wouldn't sleep well tonight. That's what I do. You know, I don't like to go with the flow. I don't like to do things how everybody else does it.
That is funny. I can imagine watching it and then not doing it, and then doing it and feeling guilty on that part.
Right.
2 more questions. All right. I already said that. I already said that one. Okay. I already said that question. I think I'm almost there. No, wait. I know I got another one here. What job title, or I know you said about starting out, you know, entry level or in that position, working your way up, but what are some job titles that you're looking for? If you when you apply on job boards and Indeed and all that, what catches your eye?
Sure. I would say project management associate or associate project manager, project coordinator, those types of roles.
All right. And that's, to me, I've never done that. I mean, I probably do it and don't even realize it, because I mean, you got to make, you got to have projects. So let's see. Oh, one more. Okay. And this is where I told about people, you being diversified, is when you were a home caregiver. You know, you said you spent 4 months taking care of a person with a stroke patient with severely impaired motor function. And I shared you with my story with my mother. And to me, everything that you've done, when I looked at the physical therapy, customer service, empathy, leadership, no errors. So that had to be rewarding also.
Absolutely. And, you know, she was severely paralyzed. She couldn't use half her body. And so she needed help with everything. And it was really great to be able to come into somebody's home and really make an impact on their day, you know, help them to eat, help them to shower, help them to get dressed. And, you know, I would do her hair and her makeup just so that she could feel human, you know, because when you're in a wheelchair and it's sudden, it was a very sudden situation. She went from being very functional, obviously, to having a stroke and being not functional. And that's a huge psychological battle. And so just to be able to provide her with the, you know, ability to feel human and feel okay every day was a really great, rewarding feeling.
That's awesome. And Rob, look at that, great guest. So
thanks.
You know, he's a great guy too. He was on the show and great candidate. I think I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, and I think it was a great, and I'm going to, you know, end my piece and then say you, but again, everybody, when you look at a candidate and, you know, you look at Francie here, everything that person's done, there's a reason. You're well-rounded. I've told you, you're in all different, I mean, like I said, all different type of skill sets, trying to find one. If you're looking at a resume, again, you don't have to just look at that resume, get to know the person. And that's what I've got to know you from your story. And that's what really hit me to reach out to you, because your post that you were just really looking for work, you know, that's all you want. And Bill has another, look at that. You got a great heart.
Oh, thank you.
So, but again, you know, if anybody can help, you know, Francie out there, please share this video. I tell everybody, share the show. If you're a colleague of mine and that follows, share it. And this is your time now. I always like to give that, I'm going to say 45-second elevator speech at the end. Why should they hire you?
So I believe a company should hire me because I am different, you know, and I really want to bring my background, my knowledge, my experience, my passion to whatever industry, to whatever business I get into. And I'm not looking to just fill a desk seat. I'm looking to really become part of your business and part of the mission of the company to grow and to be better tomorrow than it was yesterday or today.
All right. I've heard it all. I've heard it. No, I mean, and again, you know, I think you're going to do well. And again, you are moving to the Arlington area. I don't know it. I know the name, but I've never been there. So, but thank you so much. And everybody for being on the show. And I'm going to talk to you right after this. Okay.
All right. Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Everybody have a great night. We'll talk to you soon.